how I learned to think about money in terms of frequency and how I was able to use this new spiritual and energetic construct to not only generate and manifest over $1.8 million in business, but to attract high-level people in my life, to attract a social media following of over 150,000 people, to attract mystical experiences I wanted for myself. Once I learned to see energy, frequency, and vibration, like Nikola Tesla always said, I was able to start attracting money, people, and experiences I desire. Now, I want to teach you guys how you can shift your internal state energetically, instantly, with 3 simple steps. And these 3 simple steps were what I used to go from $80,000 in debt to generating over that $1.8 million. But if you think that I'm going to talk about the dollar in this video, you are solely mistaken. What I'm going to talk about is energy, frequency, and vibration, and how the universe is an infinite, abundant source of dynamic, energetic exchange, and how you can unlock your powers that are God-given, that are natural traits to you being a human, and use these to unlock the version of yourself and the version of your life you've always desired. But before I get into the 3 laws you need to master, I need to break down 2 simple mental transformations you need to go through in order to unlock an internal state where you begin to shift from a victim, a survivalist energetic state, to that of a creator, to that of someone overflowing with energy, abundance, and a desire to give to the world. Now, the first thing you're going to need to understand is you are going to have to go from thinking about the material world to transitioning to understanding the spiritual and energetic world. And I say this is going from eyesight to mindsight, because the material world we see within our 5 senses is the realm of effect, right? This comes back to quantum physics. Quantum physics is the idea that everything is energy. Everything exists on this quantum level that is non-local, right? Everything is connected energetically. And the only reason we are having a physical experience is because that energy is lowering its frequency into a denser state. When things have a lower energetic state, it forms matter, right? It forms this whiteboard. It forms this expo marker. But I'm going to show you how this applies to your general life, because you're probably like, Grant, why does the quantum physics even matter if I'm trying to figure out how to pay my bills? If I'm trying to figure out how to find the mother to my children? If you are focused on the material things you desire, right? The money in your bank account, the people in your lives, the cars you drive, the apartment you have, you are using your eyesight to make decisions about a material world that is technically an illusion. Let me break that down in a more simple manner. The material things you have in your life are a direct product of your internal state of awareness, your level of consciousness. Your level of consciousness is a vibrational state that is energetically equivalent to an emotion, right? Emotion, energy in motion. So, the experiences we tracked are a product of this state. And in order to change the experiences we have to go from eyesight to mindsight. We have to stop looking at the realm of effect, and we need to switch to mindsight, because mindsight is the wisdom to embody and become the source of what you seek. This is why understanding frequency, vibration, and energy is going to be so critical to your journey of transformation. When you start to realize the experience you have is a direct mirror of the thoughts, emotions, and actions that have been manifesting from your vibrational state, you're going to be like, oh my God, I am not stuck here forever. Energy is always changing. All I need to do is figure out how to let go of the things that keep me in a denser state, let go of the mindsets that keep me in a state of lack, a state of scarcity. When you do this, you start to overflow with abundance. You start to overflow with gratitude. You start to overflow because you are restoring your connection to the universal, infinite source of energy and abundance. So if this is something you want to do, we're going to talk about how you need to master energy, frequency, and vibration as one collective trio in order to put yourself in a state where you'll be able to implement these 3 laws to see the transformation you seek. But one thing I want to remind you is all that matters is who you are being. Information without practice is useless and dangerous. So if you're just going to watch this video and you're going to hear me tell you things like you need to practice gratitude, you need to find reasons to be overflowing with abundance, we need to figure out how to bypass your conscious mind, because that conscious mind only cares about logic. You're gonna be like, Grant, it makes sense, but I don't feel the shift. That's why I said the word embody, not think or analyze. It's embody, right? We need to figure out how to awaken this energetic state within, which is what I'm going to show you how to do with those 3 steps. But before that, I want to tell you about energy, frequency, and vibration. The nature of reality is immaterial. This means that physical objects are energy in a dense and low frequency. So what does this mean? This means that in order for you to influence the material world, we need to influence the source of the energy that is manifesting within that physical world, right? So if everything is holding a vibration, if everything is holding a frequency, your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions are manifesting from the energetic state you vibrate at. If you are in a state of scarcity and lack, your thoughts, emotions, and actions will always align with that energetic state. If you are in a state of gratitude and abundance, your thoughts, emotions, and actions will always manifest from that space. So technically, we have to even take it a step back further. This is why I said all that matters is who you are being, not what you're thinking, not what you're doing. Who you are being is the foundation of everything you do. So let me break it down for something that I went through in the last 24 hours. I found myself sitting down kind of planning this YouTube video out. And I really wanted to talk about the energy of money, because I'm a big believer that if you focus on money, that signifies lack, that signifies scarcity. The seasons of my life in which I've made a lot of money, money was never something that came across my mind. I was always in a state of service, always in a state of giving, right? I look at it on my content journey. When I show up, I haven't been showing up consistently the last 2 months, but at the beginning of my journey, I showed up every 2 days, every 3 days, and I gave. I created free workbooks, and I gave. I created free meditations, and I gave. I did free live calls, and I gave. You see how I was just giving? I knew that everything I wanted lied on the other side of that abundance. I didn't have to do it, but I wanted to, because I was overflowing with the realization that this is the information that will change people's lives. I was overflowing so much in my life from how it was changed through this type of lifestyle, for how it was changed through this type of understanding of the nature of reality, that I had no choice but to drop everything I was doing. Drop the business I was working on with the creators I had, drop the old lifestyle and friends that didn't serve me, and spend hours in my room on a whiteboard because of how reverential and profound and impactful this information is if you apply it. Abundance is a frequency radiating from your vibration. Your vibration is your level of consciousness. It is your awareness. It is what you are conscious of. So, we actually need to raise your level of consciousness. And if we're going to do this, we need to expand your concept of self. A lot of our suffering and our lack and our scarcity comes from always factoring me into the equation. How am I going to make more money? How am I going to pay the bills? Why would I do that for you? What does that mean for me? That is such a small micro sliver. Your ego is an illusion. It's literally a set of programs, constructs programmed into you through your parents, your media, the books you read. If you meditate in stillness, you are going to have an ego death, because you're going to be like, oh my God, there is nothing in there. It is just presence. And this presence is the energetic source of all things. It is an observer. It is an awareness. It is a pure source of consciousness. Consciousness is objective. It does not have positive. It does not have negative. It is always abundant. It exists beyond any material construct. That is the nature of your reality. Man was created in the image of God. This God is infinite, loving abundance. It's so abundant, it gave up all of its source energy to give us this experience. And it is still pulsating and ruminating and creating and ever evolving and ever changing. It exists beyond any type of construct or label. It is only something that can be experienced through being. And being is something you find in the present moment. And in this present moment, you can consistently seek the abundance and gratitude. Think about that. The universe, when you actually understand and deep dive into the spiritualism, you realize we are connected to an infinitely abundant source. All we have to do is let go of the old outdated paradigms and mindsets of lack. If you're like, well, how am I going to pay my bills? Boom, surrender that thought. Who cares? That's just a thought. That's just a thought manifesting from scarcity. My goal with my content is for you to be able to listen to it time and time again, so you can feel that abundance, feel that realization, feel that source energy that is just ever present. I got it. I want you to know that your thoughts and actions are manifesting from your awareness. Right? Are you aware of the fact that, oh my God, I have bills to pay and I don't have money? Or are you aware of the fact that we are all created in the image of God? And God is an infinitely abundant source. And that when you start to let go of the scarcity and lack, you naturally return to your natural state, which is abundance and unity and wholeness and completion. Because we are part of the Creator, just like the Creator is part of us. And if you can actually sit on that, not think about it, but feel it, but embody it, and allow it to awaken a profound sense of knowing, you're going to embody that state naturally. And it is not done through information, it is done through practice. So I want you to sit down, get out a notebook, listen to this video, listen to any of my other videos, and write down what sticks out to you. Write down what makes you feel expansive. Write down what liberates you and sets you free, because your natural state is that liberated state. It's not supposed to be dense. We are humans, light, humans. Get it? We are beings of light. Once you realize that your natural state is one with the infinite field of energetic potential, you will realize that scarcity, lack, and fear are man-made concepts. When you realize they're man-made concepts, you're going to be able to naturally rest in the knowing that nature is abundant. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed, so energy is always cycling. It is always in motion. So if you want to unlock more financial abundance, if you want to unlock abundance in your relationships, abundance in your experiences, let's dive into the 3 things you need to understand. This was how I went from $80,000 in debt to generating over $1.8 million. At the beginning, I identified with that version of myself that was in debt, that version of myself that was smoking weed, eating like shit. I was literally a victim to life. I was in survival mode. I was looking everywhere else. I was looking into the world for reasons that I was stuck. Grant, you're smoking weed. Grant, you're eating like shit. Grant, you're not doing your work. You see how I was so focused on the material world? I was so focused on that eyesight. As soon as I was like, I do not want to be this person, I looked in the mirror and I'm like, I'm not even that person. I don't know how I let myself get that far away from where I wanted to go. I brought my awareness internal. I brought it back within to my mindsight. And I was able to curate the version of myself that I wanted to be. I found so much abundance and love in the small things. The fact that I was able to go on a walk with my mom, my brother, and my dog, because I know this moment is not forever. when I was able to have those real existential revelations, I felt like the richest man on earth, that I still had the opportunity to wake up and make something of my life. Once I started to exist within that state, within that realization of abundance, these three key factors started to unfold in my actions, my thoughts, and my behaviors. The first was the energetic law of dynamic exchange. If you'll see over here, I've got the infinity sign. And I said, you get what you give. So many people are focused on what they're going to receive. When you ask the question, how do I make more money? That's probably why you clicked this video when I said, how I learned to think about money as a frequency. And I manifested $1.8 million. That's because you want that. You want to receive that. But what you don't realize is you get what you give. I gave my time, energy, attention, sacrifice to create a version of myself that built the business, to create a version of myself that went sober, to create a version of myself that left the toxic relationships and toxic social environments that were keeping me stuck. Because I shifted my internal energetic state and I found so much bliss and abundance in the small things, those old things I used to mask my lack, to mask the black hole within, effortlessly fell away. I did not want to go to the bars and be around negative people. I did not want to smoke weed. I did not want to skip the gym. I did not want to eat junk food, because it was naturally coming from this internal state that I unlocked. So, if you want to receive something, I want you to realize all you can do is give. All you can do is give from your energetic state. So, remember, the first half of this video was me talking about how do we unlock this abundant state that we're overflowing from and retract our attention from the external world to unlock an internal sense of awareness that is overflowing. When we can do this, we realize that everything we were seeking is within us. And when we realize that, we can start to give that to the world. When I'm in the peak flow of my content, that's all I think about. How can I give to you guys? How can I serve you guys? How can I find new ways to spin this information through my life experience to give you more value, right? Remember, if you want to receive something, you must give it first. The material world manifests differently than the internal world. For example, if you want a $100,000 a month business, your internal state is going to have to be someone that's comfortable with discomfort, someone that's comfortable with not knowing where the next paycheck is, someone that has a sense of being a self-starter, a sense of accountability, someone that has innovation, the ability to tackle social media, to tackle offer creation, to tackle marketing, to tackle sales. You have to become that person, and you only become that person through doing. It's not going to be someone that eats junk food, works a 9 to 5, and gets paid $5,000 a month. You see how the person you are being in that state is not going to equate to the energetic outcome of $100,000 a month. It requires an entire lifestyle uprooting. So what I always tell people is we got to get you into the state you seek. Because if you seek abundance, fulfillment, love, joy, euphoria, freedom, all the things you desire are going to manifest from that state, right? So you might tell yourself you want $100,000 a month, but that's because you're coming from a state of lack. When I started making $267,000 a month, I did not want that. Once I got there, I was like, oh my God, I would never trade my freedom and mental health for this shit again. Now I'm at a place where I want to be able to be financially free enough to disappear from the internet for 3 months if I want to, which I did. Maybe even like 5 months, which I did. On and off. That's because money is not a thing that drives me. Because I am a different person. I'm not motivated by those levels of financial lust and lack. I would much rather be able to turn the camera on when I want, give you guys insight from my own life, and provide value enough to the point where you're like, Grant's someone that I would want to work with in the future whenever he provides the opportunity. The second step I'm going to give you 3 steps you need to connect to the energy field, right? To connect to this source, to connect to the quantum. Because your heart and your brain have neural pathways, right? The heart one is different than the brain one, but your heart actually connects to the energetic field. It actually connects to the quantum. And it's how you transmit this feeling. It's how you transmit this frequency to it. Now, the only way you're actually going to be able to connect to that energetic field, and it can be done instantaneously. It can be done within 3 minutes if you do this practice. But the most important thing for you to understand is it can only be done in a relaxed state. You're only going to be able to turn on that relaxed version of yourself if you engage with this practice. And if you relax and practice this day in and day out, you're going to be able to easily shift your internal frequency to the state where you can be a co-creator with the experience because you're tapped into that energetic field. 3 steps: focus, breath, feeling. Focus. You have to turn your awareness inwards. You have to let go of the external world. Let go of your coworkers. Let go of the bills you have to do. Let go of the family drama. Let go of the fact you cheated when you told yourself you'd go on a diet. And go within to your heart. When you go within your heart, you're going to feel. The second thing, breathing. We want to put you in a relaxed state. All you need to know is your exhale needs to be longer than your inhale. So, 4 seconds in, 5 seconds out. It's that simple. If your exhale becomes longer than your inhale, you activate the parasympathetic nervous system. This is the rest and recovery aspect of our nervous system. This is how you put yourself in a relaxed state where your genes are more expressive, is the word. Your heart is more expressive. You're not so wound up and tied up from being in a state of fight or flight. And the final thing is feeling. You need to unlock a positive feeling within inside yourself. This is what the theme of this video has been about, learning to uncover that positive feeling, which leads me to the final point, the law of abundance. If you can align with overflow that stems from your connection to life, wholeness, and unity, you are going to be the source of what you seek. You're going to realize that the things you desired could be found in this moment. Because it's not the watch on your wrist, it's not the car that you drive, it's not how much money you make. It's the fact that you know you are present enough to be extracting the miracles and beauty that life has to offer right now. My brother said this to me 2 days ago. We came to this life as kings and queens. We were just programmed to forget it. So I want you to remember, if you want to learn how to think about money and your desires in the terms of frequency and vibration, you need to understand that frequency and vibration is energy in motion, and emotion. So whatever desires you want, uncover what feeling blossoms when you experience that visual in your head of driving the sports car, or having the certain income, or having the beautiful wife or husband. If you can feel that state now, feel that level of abundance, feel that gratitude, you are going to start to realize you can find it in things you already have. And if you can shift your level of consciousness to a level of focus and awareness that finds the magnitude and beauty and gratitude and overflowing abundance in this moment, you're going to be giving to the world. Just in how you smile at a stranger, how you open the door for another person, how you show up in your work, how you show up as an entrepreneur, a leader. Everything is impacted by who you are being, and who you are being is a product of your level of consciousness. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to spend time working on those 3 things: the focus, the breath, the feeling. And I want you to spend time journaling about things in this video, things from some of your other favorite creators that really stand out and put you in a liberated state. Something that makes you feel expansive, where you're like, oh my God, that's just the truth, and I can feel it in every cell of my body. If you can start to focus on those things, you're going to curate that energetic state now. If you can curate that energetic state now, you can bring that in everything you do as a creator. You can give that experience to the world. When you give that experience to the world, you're going to receive everything you wanted and more. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's good to be back. I'll see you in the next.